Okay, I'm going to start. Okay, so everyone, welcome to the workshop. Yeah, it's like informal. Feel free to like come as close as you want. Feel free to like be as far away as you want. If you want to learn from like in that corner or like on top of that, by all means. If you want to like be in the comfort of your own home and you stream it, you can do that too. Okay, so this is a workshop. I have things that I could talk about, and usually I will talk about in workshops. But you know, there's like not many of you here, so if like people have like a specific agenda. First of all, I guess like, are all you DJs? Yeah. Everybody? Everybody? You DJ? You just hanging? Okay. She's my DJ. I'm an observer. Okay, observer. Okay. How long have you guys been DJing? 5 years. 5? 6. 6? 2? 8? 15. 15? Okay. 5. Okay, so everyone has some experience. All right, so I won't say things like this is a turntable. No, a lot of times what I'll talk about with DJs who are more experienced is I'll talk about approaches that I take to pushing my performance beyond just sort of like mixing from song to song, and sort of like not only just like saying like here are some tools, talking about how I actually like think about those tools and use them to go beyond simply mixing from a track to another track. I mean, at the end of the day, if you play good songs in a good order, people are going to be happy. But I think sort of like more performance-based things are going to really help set you apart from other DJs, really sort of like have a lasting impression on your audience. And so yeah, so this is sort of like my main thing. Like when I'm DJing, I'm trying to find ways to, you know, at times, you know, like go like this and like dance, you know, like put my hands up and all that kind of stuff, but also really like have key performance moments that integrate seamlessly into sort of the overall kind of party atmosphere to sort of like leave a more lasting impression. So what I normally would talk about it would be sort of different things like that. But I'm also open to just like, you all have been DJing for like some years, so if there are like specific things you want to know about, we can talk about those too. So right off the bat, does anyone have anything like very specific, or whatever, not specific? You want to know like the meaning of life or something like that? Track? No, it's not track.
Should a DJ every?
What's that?
What made you switch from Serato to Tractor?
It's for me. It's much better for what I need to do. First, to me, it feels a lot better for scratching. The sound quality is better. Yeah, and just more accurate. Like if we did. There's no like digital little things, so that all matters for scratching. Also, it's a more powerful program as far as the things that you can do to it. So what interests me in DJing, beyond just sort of like the vibe of the party, is looking at how I can sort of push the envelope with DJ performance. And here in Tractor, for me, there are just more options. It's a more advanced, it's a more powerful program. So the combination of better feel, better sound, more features. That's what makes it exciting to me. Like the flip side of it is, I would say probably Serato is like a bit more intuitive and easier. But I think if you're like going to be like a power user, there's way more power than you can do with Tractor.
Yeah. More choice.
What do you think about like Serato DJ versus like Tractor now? Like, you know, SSL. I think I agree with you, but like Serato DJs like made a lot more advancements.
Yeah, they made it
kind of towards like the Tractor end as far as like the features and power and things like that.
I need to spend more time, or I need to spend some time with Serato DJ, which I haven't. So I mean that could be interesting. The thing about Tractor and NI is it's this whole big company that also does like professional like synthesizers and things like that. So you know that like anything that's happening is going to be like of the utmost quality in sound and performance. And it's like this whole big team, and it's like things like these, you know, like more advanced features Tractor's had for like, I don't know, like 10 years or 15 years. So it's just like with new features come new sort of like bugs that can happen. But actually, I do need to check it out more. But maybe like next week I'm gonna do, because I've just been on tour all year. But yeah. But it does seem like Serato DJ is up their game. The thing that's the most interesting to me about that is being able to put multiple BPMs out of the features I've heard.
Yeah, single track?
Yeah, in other words, like if a track changes tempo, you could have a beat grid.
On tracker.
Switch. Where I was on tracker, you're stuck to a BPM curve. So that was the feature I heard that was like, okay, that's.
I haven't heard that. That's,
I just heard it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's
Any more questions right off the bat? Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, how many are you DJ?
I've been doing a little bit here and there and kind of following everybody.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
Getting more into it.
Sweet. Okay, nice. So right now, So right now we're just feel free to join our like everyone's like super like okay, let's DJ. Feel free to join our like tough semi circle. Right. Yeah. So right off the bat, also like more questions, just like just things right off the bat. Well, good. Okay. Oh yeah. So what I want to do, like I said, is I want to talk about approaches that I like to take to sort of pushing my DJing beyond just going from track to track and sort of getting a bit more of my hands on it. And so the first thing that I use like all the time like crazy is cue points. Raise your hand if you don't know what a cue point is. It's okay if you don't. You know what a cue point is? You good? Okay, everyone knows what it's really fine if you don't. Okay, so a cue point is like, okay, I'll say it anyway. You mark a spot of the song and then you can just jump to that song, right? Now, there are a few different ways that you can use cue points to really change how your tracks come out. For me, I didn't really even like to DJ parties until digital stuff came out, and a lot of the reason why I like DJing with digital is cue points, because what it allows you to do is, first of all, just as the track is playing on its own, truly have control over what parts of a song play when. The song is not the boss of you, you are the boss of the song. If you only want to play the word what in a song, you just play the word what. It's like, sorry song, that's all you get the word what. Or if you want to play the end, into the beginning or whatever, you have total control. And so I like to do this, this is great for a bunch of reasons. One reason where it can be really useful is if you have a track that has like different kind of sections in it, is you can use a track to sort of like test the waters with the crowd. So like let's say I've been playing like trap for a little bit, then I want to see if this crowd's going to get to more 4/4 kind of vibe. Let's say I have a track where the beginning is 4/4 and the end is trap. I can kind of play the song, see how people react, and then it's like, if they're reacting, okay, I'm going to stick to the 4/4 vibe, and if not, go, uh-oh, and then jump to trap. Okay, so I'll show you that. All right, so I have this track here, and I'm using Machine here as a MIDI controller. That just means when I hit things here, it controls the program. There's nothing special going on. It's the same as like, they do the same thing, I'm just like this. So this track, it starts like, also let's say I notice it's like, wait, I want the drop to happen right now. I can be like, I want the track to go faster. So I'm not going to let this go second. There's like 32 more bars of that first part going. So it's like I'm testing the waters and I want it to get hyped more quickly. Just that little bit of control to get to those sections of your track when you want to. But it's like, okay, and people, they were like really happy like this, and then it's like they like don't know how to move anymore. So then the end of this song has traps, and if I notice that whenever I wanted to, I could just. So really all I'm doing is I've marked key sections of my song, and the sort of idea I'm trying to get across here is just really having control and having your hands on how a track comes out, and really thinking about a track in terms of its different sections and the sort of like response or energy or feeling or style that those different sections have, and then you having that sort of like, you being able to react. a lot of being a DJ is like reacting to a crowd, but like traditionally that's reacting to a crowd in terms of like what song am I going to play next. You can also sort of think in like within a track itself. All right, so that's example number one. Any questions so far? Okay. Oh yeah.
I was going to say, you know, unlike Serato and Dicers and the traditional key points, you have twice as many key points there. You're literally able to remix the song instead of having to cut and edit it beforehand and then playing it later at the club in order to cut and edit it. It's live, right?
Yeah, you can do it live. So on Tractor, you have it's 8 hot cues that you have. And what I really, I'll shortly do some more like sort of performance style examples. What I really like about like trying to approach performance from just like what can I do out of the songs that I have is when you're done doing your performance type thing, then it's just the track playing again. You don't have to make any extra plans or think about this whole other thing or do this other work in this other program. When you're done doing the performance thing, the thing you're doing the performance with is back to being a normal song. So you can switch from sort of this like performance mode to sort of a more traditional kind of DJ mode really, really quickly. Yeah. So yeah, like I'll do like performance type things with using cue points, but then when I drop it, it's just the track. All right. More questions? Okay, so same kind of idea with cue points is also changing how 2 tracks play together. So rather than 2 songs play, you introduce them and they play together, doing sort of like jumping between different sections and making sort of like new combinations happen. So let's get,
I got plans for this rap game.
Okay, so that goes, I've got plans for this rap game, and a whole part of the song happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in another song here. They're going to play together. Then when the drop happens here, at that moment I'm going to jump back to that first cue point. So I get a new sort of relationship between those 2 songs. And this is taking too long right now, so I'll just sort of... A few things with that. Firstly, there's one, I made that sort of like jump kind of happen. And even if you're not gonna scratch, just even making that jump happen on its own, I think is still pretty interesting. So if it would sound something like, no skills, like you know, like it's still more interesting to me. Like it's still more. And then just like
plans for this. I got plans for this. I got plans for this rap game.
So already first, just doing the jump, no skills, already more interesting. Already you sort of like placing more of a mark on how the songs are interacting with each other. Secondly, just being, like everyone can do this, I think. Like even just doing that to me is making things more engaging. The other thing that was happening here is this song that I have playing that's the beat. After that first beat section, it goes into like a really kind of like dead part. And this goes on for like another 64 bars. And so that's what I'm saying, like having authorship over how your tracks come out. In the middle of my scratching, I made a moment where I jumped to the next drop. So there was no break in energy. So it's not only sort of combining the tracks in different ways, but sort of, like I said, sort of like being the boss of the song. Everybody good so far? How many questions so far? Okay, we'll continue. Some more sort of like, I just love cue points, I use them like crazy. Another sort of cue point technique, and this is more sort of performance based. And the idea here is that anytime you have like a melody, like a nice clean melody, or like a vocal phrase, what you do is you put a cue point on every note of the melody or every word of the vocal phrase. And then at any moment in your track, you can sort of turn it into sort of like a drum machine kind of style thing. But like we were talking about, when you're just the track playing again. Okay, so I'll do an example of that.
Oh, like I showed up late, sorry, but so we're just talking about like how to integrate the machine with, or we're just talking about how to get through tracks, like.
Oh, right now it's more general. So I wouldn't. Right now the point is not the tools I'm using. It's more like the ideas that I'm talking about.
Right.
And the sort of like the overall theme of what I'm talking about is how approaches to using whatever your tools are to go beyond simply mixing from song to song. Sort of putting more of yourself and your personality into how the track, how your music comes out. And so right now we're sort of looking at just cue points, and it doesn't have to do with like me using machine or me using this or me using tractor. It's just like the ideas, the approaches to how you can use cue points. So the first one was just like rearranging a track. Another one was putting new combinations of a mix in. And now here is sort of like becoming a live instrumentalist. So yeah, it's more like, it should be sort of like no matter what software you use, this can apply to what you're doing. Yeah, okay, so we have a track. In this track there's a melody. On each note of the melody. So I'll show you an example of how to use this. being a normal song. Okay, so even just like without scratching stuff, just like rearranging the notes. You're doing you're really doing something like totally different with the track. And in that moment, it is really sort of like more of a performance. Questions so far? We all good? All right, you guys smart.
How often should you scream out, put your hands in the air, and is that every 90 seconds or every 3 minutes?
Okay. So how often do I say put your hands in the air? That brings up a serious thing, which is like I think it's important to do things like this and things like that. In other words, you want to sort of have a balance, like you want to have a performance which is for everyone. And so I am someone. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen here tonight, but if it's like, you know, everyone's going like, there's a bunch of people and they're going crazy, I'll definitely be on the mic and say, all right, put your hands or make some noise, or, you know, let's turn up or something like that. Like, I'll say all that stuff because I think that's important, because not everyone comes out for different reasons, and you want to give people, no matter who it is, give some form of excitement. Like my goal when I'm DJing is for like everyone who's there to be like, oh, that was like an amazing DJ set. And what made it an amazing DJ set, that might be different for each person. Maybe it was me going like, oh, it was just like so much fun, like when my hands were up, and he told me to do that, and it's like that was like the best. Like, or maybe it's someone to be like, did you see him execute like the Autobahn scratch? That was amazing. Both those people, like you want to do something for both those people.
It seems like there's a healthy balance between every 90 seconds crapping over the music and you know, letting the music breathe a little bit. I've seen people get a little too excited about that. While the local DJs who play bass music and that sort of thing, they don't want to talk over the music, they don't say anything, but the headliners come in here with all the confidence, and they're the ones who know, you know, when to interject such things. That's just my 2 cents. Okay.
Yeah, I think no matter what, I think it's a good idea to like at least say something on the mic. Like if it's just to say, hello, I'm Steve, or like, and then goodbye, that was me, Steve, who just DJ'd for the past 2 hours or whatever. Just so people, otherwise,
He's okay.
Otherwise, like there's your goal. I think like a goal with, you want like people to sort of like, you know, become your fans. And it's like if they don't know that you started or that you finished or who you are, it makes it very, very hard for them. You want to make it like I even have like a Shiftee. That'll happen all throughout my set. Yeah. So it's like, if anyone watched Seinfeld, it's like the way one of the characters picks up women is by singing a little jingle when he's around them, so that it gets like stuck in their head, and they're like, Costanza, and then they like, same thing with this. It's like someone might leave and be like, Shiftee, and then they'll I don't know, maybe they'll find out, or maybe they're annoyed, who knows. Yeah, I think it is important, to have a balance. Obviously, you don't want to be obnoxious. Key moments. But even if you're in a more sort of local like opener situation, I still think it's a good idea to just say like, yo, what up, everyone? Let's have a good time tonight. I'm DJ so-and-so, and these are the so-and-so sounds. And then that's it. You don't have to talk again until the end of your set. But at the end of your set, you say, okay, that was me, DJ so-and-so. Those were like the so-and-so sounds that you know, found me on the internet, something like that. I still think that's like a good thing to do. Yeah, one other just sort of like quick note about like performance stuff and balance, and just like making an engaging performance. If you're doing something cool, it doesn't matter if no one knows that you're doing something cool. That's something I see happen a lot with people, is they might be doing something cool, but it's not set up in a way that people even, one, know to watch, to see if something cool is happening, or presenting it in a way where sort of the cool things that are happening, someone knows that it's happening. For me personally, what I do is maybe like 3 times a set, I'll basically like stop the dance floor and make them look at me, so they know that something is about to happen. It's like, okay, now is the performance time. So I'll like disrupt the audio. Everyone will have to look up, and so first it's like setting up. It's like, okay, something cool is going to happen right now. Then doing the thing that's cool, and then you sort of have to be like, you direct them basically. So I think what happens a lot is someone will like all of a sudden they'll be like in here and like doing all this stuff, but then it's if you really want to sort of like get that across, you sort of need to set it up. Okay, so that's just sort of like a performance zone. That's actually why I personally have like machine over here, away. There's sort of like a big trend in DJ technology to push everything into one package, but to me, this makes performance not as engaging or understandable because it's just this like massive little button. So if someone's like, even if you're like 5 feet that way, someone who doesn't know anything about DJing, they're not going to know like you hit a cue point there if it's all mixed in here together. So I like this because it's like I have to come to a whole separate area. I'm doing like a whole different kind of thing, and even if you don't know exactly what I'm doing, you know that something's happening and it's different, and my motions like correspond to something that's changing in the sound. So just like a quick little note about performance. Any more questions at this stage in the game?
I was not a question, but I would equate like your performance kind of spiel about like what bands do. Like exactly what they do. Like before they go on, everything stops, and then they start up, and let everybody know, they're going on. I think a lot of DJs do that. They don't do that. They want to mix seamlessly into each other. And I've always been like a person who's like, look, I want everybody to know I'm going on. You know what I mean? So I think that's important.
That's important. Although it is different from a band in the sense that a DJ in general, a DJ is also expected to make people dance the whole time. Whereas in a band situation, the whole thing is designed for people really. I mean, I guess like maybe this still happens. So like if you're gonna go like I don't know, like swing dancing or something like that, like the band and then you just dance and they play something, but there is sort of like in a band situation, like people are just gonna be like this the whole time, and so you're expected to do performance. So there is sort of like a different kind of balance that you need to be able to strike because a lot of people will. I mean, most people go to a club or whatever to like dance. And so it's sort of like this dual, like I said, it's sort of a balance that you find, I guess, through experience, where you can disrupt things, but then you got to make everyone dance again. Right. And it's like you got to sort of then like shift the attention away from you for people who don't want to like, they're there to like dance with their friends or whatever. And so for me, the normal kind of thing that works is like in a 1 hour set, like 3 times, beginning, middle, end. Once it gets longer, maybe I'll do a 4th. Kind of thing, or maybe I'll have like 1 or 2 routines in there that are totally danceable, but if you were watching, it would be like engaging. That's the formula that normally works for me. But yeah, let people know you're there. Otherwise, it's like then you're never there, almost. Like, yeah. Question.
I want to say I lived in New York. I DJ'd in New York, and there's a lot of energy there. A lot of people in this compacted area embracing technology as it's coming out. Forefront, and often in New York you get to see stuff before anybody else gets to see it if it's coming out. So that's a valuable asset for you and what you're going to bring today.
Oh sure. Well, so he's saying how like New York you like see all these you get things first, but I really think a lot of that's changed with the internet, where like I mean, yeah, I think like. It just depends like what websites you go to. Honestly, like New York, you can go and like see these things in the flesh, but it's really easy. Like every like minor genre is like international now because of the internet. So I think in the past there definitely was a thing like you're in New York, you see things no one else is going to see. I think that's only true now. Maybe a little bit like in the flesh, but otherwise everyone's like on the same internet. Yeah, and so there's a bit less of that. So if you go like anywhere, people can know what's happening, especially DJ technology everywhere.
The city itself is pretty darn competitive to this day, right? As far as DJing and venues and style of music that's playing and the number of DJs doing it.
There's a lot of DJs. It's I guess in certain scenes it would be more competitive, but for New York, and this is how I feel about just sort of like the overall music landscape, is that there's enough fans for everyone.
Yeah.
And so like one DJ playing some underground style music isn't necessarily like poaching fans from another person playing some other underground style music. And I think that's true also like globally. Like I don't think like David Guetta is like stealing my fans, you know what I mean? Or like is stealing some like underground like like footwork producer or something like that. Like but like an underground footwork producer can play an international festival. And it's the same sort of thing in New York, where there can be like, the mega club thing where like, you know, it's like, you know, at like Pasha or wherever, and like Calvin Harris is there, but at the same moment there are like 10 banging like warehouse parties happening. So right now I think the New York scene is pretty healthy. There's always going to be some competitiveness within certain scenes, I think especially sort of like a top 40 bottle service kind of situation, but for the underground, from my perspective, there's sort of like enough to go around. And I think that's sort of true on a bigger picture too. Like right, I think it's all because of the internet. Like right now, people who make like, I don't know, like an artist like Cashmere Cat who's making like quirky, melodic, sort of trappy things. It's just like quirky, chill music can like play like a major stage at a major festival, like somewhere totally different in the world. And I think that would have been tough pre-internet. And the same thing, it's like he's not necessarily competing with like, you know, like whatever Calvin Harris or something like that.